Welcome back. Let's challenge ourselves with the coding challenge number 2. And in this one, we are going to continue with our football betting application. And let me start by saying this challenge is actually a bit difficult. Alright, so please try your best to solve this. And of course, you can also use the Google MDN. Let's get into this exercise. So let's continue with the football betting application. In the first scenario, here loop over the game scored array and print each player's name to the console along with the goal number. For example, goal 1 is equals to Lewandowski. So, okay. In the second one, we have to use a loop to calculate the average, odd, and log into the console. We already studied how to calculate averages, and as you can go and check if you don't remember. Okay, and in the third one, print the three odds to the console in a nice formatted way, exactly like this. Okay, so we have to get these values from here team 1, and here X should be the draw, and team 2, so we have to get these values here. So get the team names differently from the game object and don't hard code them except for draw. Okay, and hint, note the odds and then the game objects have them same property names. Okay, and bonus, create a object called scores which contains the name of the players who scored as properties and the name of and the number of goals as the values. In this game it will be these three persons. So I'm not going to write the code for the bonus, so you have to try on your own. So if you fail to that, so at the end of this video I'll post the bonus code so you can compare yours and mine. So let's straight away get into our code here. So here for constant of game dot scored dot entries, as you have remember we have used previously as well this. Now here in the entries we want indexes because we also want number of goals, right? So for that here we write constant, so in the square bracket here we'll use I comma players of game sport dot entries. We'll use console.log. Here we say goal. So this is how here we write. Here spelling mistake here we did. See, here we got our output here. So this is how we want to display our things here. So here we get the 4 goals printed to the console. So let's just move on to a second one now. Let's now start with our number 2. Here we have to calculate the average odds. So to the average basically of these three numbers here, as you can see these three numbers, and what are we are going to do is to loop over the object here and simply add all of these three values together and then finally divide them by number of elements. That's how we calculate the average. So let me just say here let average equals to 0, and here let me just say for constant odd of object dot values, here we'll say game dot odds, right? We want the odds to be printed out. Average plus or equals to odd. Okay, and then here average equals average divided by equals to, so here we'll say object dot values of game dot odds, and here we'll say console to log average. So as you can see here we did a error here, so let's do some debugging here. Actually let me just copy this, Control C, and then here after our 0 dots here we just say, see here we are getting 11 point something change, so it is adding up to the total value but it is not. So Yeah, let's do one thing. Let me just create here one more constant called odds. So here we'll say object.values.game.odds equals to odds. So simply here we'll replace that, and also here we'll replace that. So here odds dot length it should be. So then here it will calculate for these three values. As you can see here we got our value right now. So okay, so let's just move on to the third one right now. So the goal is here to print basically the content of the object to the console. So we are going to loop over that. So again, the first we want to print both the teams and then the odd. So we need the entire object. So for that, let me just say for constant of team, comma, odd of object dot address of game dot odds. As we know that we need an array of arrays which in position will have both the team and the odds. So as we have already created that for that team and odds, so here it is as when we define the variable name, because it is an array now, so we don't have to match any property name. So let's log to the console, just stay here team comma odd. So here we are getting these values, right? As you can see here. So we know what we have to do. By the way, here notice here what I explained you in the last lecture, how in the array we use the entry methods to get the entries of array, but in object we have to use object dot entries and then pass into function the object that we are interested in. So that's fundamentally difference, so keep that in mind. Okay, here now we now want to build a string like that. Instead of this, let's just say here odd of using the operator. Here we'll say so here instead of these dots here we need to create the string here. So let me just say constant team string here equals to, so actually here instead of these dots we need here some kind of logic. So to get this kind of output, so these these players here, so to get these kind of output, so these players, right, as you can see here, let's just create it separate values, call this so that we can call this one as a string. So as I already created here, constant team string here equals to, we'll set here to the team, and then we'll set this using this operator. Let's say here we'll say x, so we want our x value here to be draw, right? So we'll set this to draw, or if else case here we'll say move to. So let's just save it. Yeah, here we forgot to mention here the bracket, so we'll just, so for loop, right, we are just creating, this needs to be in the bracket. So as you can see here we got the output. So let's just see here. So this is how the output is here. So we got exactly the same. So what we did here was, so simply here we just added here the team string here. So we are setting here this to the question here, the team, and then here in this team we are setting this for the x value. So for that we are creating the if and else statement. So here we are setting that to the draw, and in the else statement we are declaring a statement string here, victory game of team. So we are also combining this here, and odd of team string, and here odds. So odd of team string, so which is the basically the names here, and then the values here getting printed. So and also in the bonus clip, in the bonus, if you have tried on your own, so I'll paste the code here, so you can just see the code here for that. So I'm not going to explain that. Now you can see this bonus code here. So with that, let's wrap up this challenge here. So that's it for this video. Thank you.